Hiroshi, thank you so much for your time. I've been trying to get your time for past 5 months, and I'm so glad we could finally do this. So thank you so much.
No, I must apologize. I don't know why it took that long. Someone coming from Nepal, from America, US all the way, and doing such a great work. We should have met earlier, and I shouldn't have put you into this trouble of traveling all the way.
You really don't need to apologize because you are so busy, and as I've read your book and I've done so much research on you, so thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
And I want to start by this question. In one of your old interviews, you said, Nepalko rangesalaले Ronaldo banaउँदैन, right? So you are like Ronaldo in your own field, and you are an exception. So is your view changed about that?
Well, I did say that, and I still maintain, because you know why. You have to understand that in context. You may be a great sportsman. Like today, suddenly Nepal has produced some of the finest cricketers, right? Sandeep Lamichhane, you know about him. Recently, I think all of you should, our Nepalese diaspora will be, I'm sure they know, but they should know more about him. First time in the history ever, IPL has bought Sandeep Lamichhane from Nepal.
Oh, wow.
An 18 or 19-year-old who's going to play the IPL tournament here. So it is, the contest is that make it big, you need a bigger playing ground. So generally, even if you are the best player, you can't find your match, which pushes your skills and challenges you to play in that wider spectrum. That's true. I still believe that it's very, very difficult. But sometimes destiny do give, great unprecedented situations. And probably, my life is all about that. Nepal, as you know, when Nepal was struggling, insurgency, Maoist movement, there was limited things that one could do. And here was a man, coming from a small country, but with big dreams.
Yeah.
So somehow the boundaries of Nepal were not capable of limiting my aspirations, and I decided against all odds, against even the prevailing laws at that time, for a Nepalese to take a plunge in the international market, I decided to go out. So it's one of those, but you can do it. So I think probably I should rephrase. That ordinarily it's very difficult, but you can still do it.
Yeah. And in 1990s, what made you to leave Nepal and put your hands in international businesses?
Two reasons. One, I felt that like anybody else from any big country or prosperous country, I think Nepalese have no reason why they shouldn't start a multinational. We should open frontiers. We should go out and sell whatever we've got. We've got talent, skills, brands, management know-how, entrepreneurial initiatives, whatever. So that was the desire to grow and create the first multinational was one. And secondly, also, honestly speaking, life was becoming difficult. So we didn't want to fold up. We wanted to continue to struggle. Our private industrial park had already started that time, but it was not moving forward at the pace I'd wanted. Things were difficult. Half of the time the country used to be closed. So huge amount of issues which any country goes through. So I have no qualms and complaints about it. But I wanted to use our creative energy, when I say ours, I mean not only mine, the energies of the family and organization, for a bigger purpose.
One thing that I absolutely love about your story is that you turn every oppression into an opportunity. So in 1990s, when there was trouble in Nepal, you're like, okay, let me go out there and try different fields. Or whenever there is something difficult in your life, you try to create an opportunity out of it. Is that something that you consciously do, or is this something like a second nature for you?
I think it comes from within. People, you are thrown in the middle of a situation which most people will think, my God, where have I got myself into? Is it worth staying in here or even taking the next step. But the way my mind works, that what is it that we can do here?
So you look at the solution.
Yeah, and I also feel that wherever there is a problem, wherever the environment is difficult, that's where your rewards are going to be bigger. Okay, and that's going to be a huge entry barrier for others. That's what is going to give you a kind of an open field. Okay, it's going to be tough. And as they say, when the journey gets tough, the tougher gets going, right? So I've never been. I'll give you an example. I mean, I'm sure you've read about my Sri Lankan story, right? I mean, Sri Lanka was going through a phase which not even the Sri Lankans wanted to touch.
They were in war for years.
Yes, there was war for years. 6 aircrafts were bombed the same year at Colombo Airport.
Wow.
And people were just leaving the country, the hotels were closing down. And that was the time the Taj offered to partner. I wanted to bring them to Nepal, but they said, Nepal, we can't do it. We are bound by our contracts. So, but if you want to come to Sri Lanka. I mean, very, very, I mean, I appreciate from their perspective, but not a very fair proposition, But I said, sure, let's go and look at it. And when I went to Sri Lanka, I'd been there once, but on a very short trip. I somehow felt that, my God, this is what a beautiful country, beautiful people, great fundamentals. No wonder Lee Kuan Yew had once said, I think in 50s when he visited Sri Lanka, that if someday I can make Singapore like Sri Lanka, I'll be proud.
Wow.
That's what Lee Kuan Yew of Singapore had said.
Wow.
So I remember those words. I saw the fundamentals. I said, this country can't be made victim of this insurgency for far too long. It's a phase. So if we can survive, we'll be the winner. And that was my time to negotiate a good deal. And that's how I took it. Otherwise, why should Taj, a group like Taj, invite an entrepreneur from Nepal with no hotel background to come and partner with them?
Yeah.
Do you think they'll invite me to come and open up a hotel in Mumbai? No.
Not
Neither my resources at that point of time would allow me to do that. So that was my best opportunity.
Even with YY, right? So the guy who owned YY in Hong Kong, he was like, that would be the biggest mistake. Thailand, sorry. He said that would be the biggest mistake of your life to bring a noodle company in Nepal.
Yes.
But you saw the opportunity. So millennials right now who are listening to this podcast or YouTube, can they develop that kind of intuitive energy, or is that something that you think you just had it?
It is intuition, you're right, because I always maintain that the feasibility of YY was done by looking at a product travel on the baggage belt of Trivandrum International Airport, no KPMGs and PWCs. And I was wondering that why is it that everybody who goes to Thailand, and not that, even those days, although Nepal Airline had started, Thai had started, and a lot of Nepalese had started traveling, but they were still probably in thousands, not even in hundreds of thousands. If each one of them is bringing this noodle, there must be something. So that was my conviction. And this gentleman, highly experienced, he said, you will go burst if you go into this business. The minimum capacity is 30,000 packets a day.
Oh, wow.
Okay, and no way Nepal can afford it. Nepal can afford it. Not even Nepal can consume that volume. Because what he saw, when he went around Kathmandu's streets and, the outlets. And today we produce 2.2 billion packets.
Wow.
And not only in Nepal, without any doubt, we have a massive market share. Leader by far. India, we are 27%. We have 9 plants in India, adding the 10th one, and 27% market share. Maggi just 43. And we are determined that by 2020 we will reach a 40% level, which will make probably us, the YY from Nepal, the #1 brand in India.
no doubt it's going to happen soon. But even with YY, it's been here for like decades, and it's still number one. And there were hundreds of noodle company that came after who were trying to take over YY, but YY has still been one. And I have no doubt the quality is amazing because we love YY. But how do you plan your business strategy to be number one for so long? Because there is no doubt that's just not luck.
I think you got to preempt situations, you know. You got to preempt, you got to plan. Of course, I mean, nothing happens by fluke. Okay, you got to carefully plan where you want to be. What will it take to get there? You know, people so lightly use the word vision, you know. So easily, everybody talks about vision. But what is vision? Vision is seeing into the future and creating a very systematic and a very reliable roadmap. That's what is vision. If you can deliver a future that you have envisioned for yourself or for your company or for your brand or even for your country. Okay? I mean, what will it take? How do you put those resources together? So likewise, I think we have been proactive. We've been able to deliver a product which is unmatchable. You know, we say that we're not Maggies of the world. You know, we are completely different, but Maggie too. Okay, because our product is so unique, our offering is so unique, and I must acknowledge, because many of my brothers and sisters all over the world who are fans of YY, they are the real marketeers of YY. They are the ambassadors of YY. I have to acknowledge this always, that YY is one product which has been built by its fan. They carried it physically.
Yeah.
They used to carry initially from, Kathmandu, when we started that Vaisapati plant, to Darjeeling, Kalimpong, Bangalore, or wherever they went for studies. The only thing they will ask for from their parents, "Ke chahiye bhandakeri, YY padhaidinus" bhanthyo, right? And that's how. And there is a breed of 3 generations over the last 37 years. Okay, we've taken YY all over the world. As a matter of fact, I think it'll be fair to say that we've been following our loyal consumers. Wherever they go, we go there. And I think it's become a staple food. It's become the life of people, you know. YY is synonymous with every Nepali, and Nepalese are synonymous with YY.
Yeah.
And that's what makes us so proud.
Absolutely.
We have, you know, that we're producing in Europe. We are now going to produce this year in Bangladesh and then in Egypt. Our plan by 2020 is to have 9 different production centers apart from India and Nepal, and make it truly a global brand.
In New York Stock Exchange.
And list it in the New York Stock Exchange.
I want to ask.
And we're very much moving in that direction. See, that's what I think, that this is where I like to connect your question, that, you know, how come the journey has been successfully moving forward. I mean, when I plan something, we make sure that we are, without faltering, without bringing in any kind of a confusion, we are on course. There will be problems, there will be obstacles, there will be even artificial obstacles which will be put on your way. But as I've said in my book, what I learned in my life, that you should do your best to remove those obstacles. Okay? But if somebody tries to block me, I'll jump over and still get there.
Wow.
That's, I think, long and short of it. If you abandon your journey, you'll never make it.
Is there times where you want to give up, or is there times where you're like so down? What do you do?
It has, at times I feel very disappointed and very sort of disheartened that even something right we're trying to do, somehow situation is not helping, or people are trying to create artificial, unfair obstacles. But again, next moment I'm back with it. It gives me an added sense of energy that, come on, fight back.
Yeah. I also wanted to ask you this question. you are not just a businessman. You're a singer, you used to go to India just to watch movie, and you are really into movies as well. So do you think your artistic side has helped you to be a better businessman?
Probably yes. I think life is all about balance. You know, life, I've stated it, I've talked about it, I've written about it. Life is like a tent, you know, which has 5 poles. Okay? And a properly pitched tent can only happen if each of these poles are properly erected and they're strong. Life is exactly the same. You know, there is a private part of your life. You know, you may be a loner, you may be a singer, you may be, you know, a writer, you may be whatever, you know. Then there is a family part of your life, right? Father, mother, wife, children, whatever. And then there is a social part of your life, which is a larger sort of a section of the society with whom you mingle, maybe because of your business associates, or if your audience, or your, not audience, business associates or friends, or relatives, you know, little distant relatives. And then you have a public life. Public life is this life, right?
Absolutely.
And there is a perception, and people do try to draw images of the people, and you got to handle that properly. You got to live up to that expectation. And most importantly, the central pillar is what? The professional part of your life. You've got to be professionally strong in whatever you do. And I think that keeps the family together, that keeps friends and public perception, everything together. But that's not the only thing that you should be living for. Okay, that's a means of keeping the life balanced. There's another angle to it, and I guess it can be stretched a little bit. You know, that the artistic part or passion, you know, what you enjoy doing, I think that makes your life fulfilled. Okay, the emptiness in life is what eats you up. Okay, but there is another angle to it, is spirituality. And that's what I've learned after, you know, I came closer to my guru, Shri Ravi Shankar of Art of Living. There is a spiritual journey to life. You know, my guru tells me, and I completely agree, that sometimes our daily life or our professional life, you know, it's like when you look at a cloth that you wear, okay, there are 2 parts of it. One is cutting it and then stitching it back. So he says that, look, your professional life is like cutting things all the time. You know, draw and cut and saying, doing this, boom, 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 boom. And then spiritual part of life is stitching it back nicely, you know, for the larger good, thinking of something beyond what you see in front of you. Because I think the world is not all about material you know, presence. I think it's much more than that. And that's what keeps the life going and the world going. So I think these are very, very important facets in life, and this only strengthens if someone thinks that it's a waste of time and you have to move on. After a particular phase, you have to move on to the next phase. I don't believe in that. I think you have to carry on with all these as a part of your life.
What do you do to strengthen your spiritual journey on a daily basis?
I pray, I do my yoga, I do my Sudarshan Kriya, which is taught by my guru, Art of Living. And I go to my temple every day, even for 5 minutes. And so I do my prayers before I go to bed.
Is that
I remain connected, let's put it this way. Different people have different ways of being connected. Some people can go to temple and stay there for 3 hours and do, you know, that's also fine. Okay, I feel connected even while traveling. I feel connected wherever I am. It's there.
Was this always there, or did you turn on to your source or your spirituality when you became really successful and you felt like something was missing?
I've always, I wouldn't say that I was a fanatic in terms of, you know, I'm not a fanatic even now, by the way. No, meaning, like, I didn't believe in gurus and things like this, but I've always been religious. I believe that there is something which is supernatural in this world. My father was a very religious man. He used to go to Pashupatinath temple every day. He used to walk to Pashupatinath until he was, I think, about 60. And then he started driving, etc. Towards the last days of his life, we used to take him in his wheelchair. He died at 93, just 2 years ago. So we've been, you somehow inherit those value systems.
I also want to ask you one more question. So you've talked about hiring K.R. Sharma, who was a senior official from Nestle and who helped YY and who helped Chaudhary Group as a whole. And you've hired some incredible people for your company. So what do you look for when you're hiring someone?
Yeah, I mean, that was a very, I think, visionary move, I would say, to have thought of hiring somebody from Nestle. I mean, at a time when we couldn't really afford it, and the operation was really very small, and we were just starting, we were planning to launch the YY, to thought of bringing in someone who will give us that edge, who knows what the competition is doing, and then do something plus. So we needed the knowledge and the know-how, the systems. So it was not easy. I still remember, thorough gentleman. I met his nephew recently, actually, after he is no more. And his wife lives in US. I've kept in touch. He used to have 2 little daughters. They are also settled down in US. So recently I tracked them because one of his nephew had, as destiny would have it, joined the Himalayan airline as a pilot.
Wow.
So he came, after he read the book, he saw the name of Mr. K.R. Sharma. He said, he called me and I invited him and he said, sir, I'm his nephew.
Wow.
I felt so proud of my uncle. Anyway, so that's true. I think you need to, it's all about people. I think whenever you are starting, no way you can be a master of all, businesses, right? So you got to, when you think of doing something, you got to get the best brain in that industry. I think, so having said that, the knowledge, the business specific knowledge is of course very, very crucial, but equally crucial to me is loyalty, integrity of the person. He or she has to be as passionate as I am. That you don't sleep and you do daydreaming, all the time. Yeah. You love what you are doing. You love your business. You share the same mission and vision of the company. I think these are the qualities, right?
Yeah. So have a growth mindset.
Yeah.
And you said like entrepreneurs are not always bred but born. Do you think you're a born entrepreneur?
I think so, no question about it. I think that's true. That's true for people all over the world. I think when I was at the Oxford speaking to the management school students and with the dean was sitting there, and I started my statement by saying, it's there in the net. Did you see that?
I probably have. I've probably watched all of them.
Okay. I said that, look, if you all think that Oxford is going to make you entrepreneurs, you are mistaken. So everybody's eyes popped out and what is this man saying in Oxford Management School? People, wait all their lives and parents must have, or they themselves, would have put in their entire life saving to send somebody to Oxford, and he's saying that then I started to elaborate. Because entrepreneurs, it's not about what you read in the books. Every entrepreneur who is successful has done things differently. It is nothing to do with what you learn. It's about the fire in the belly. Like you asked me the question that why do you always get into some of the most difficult environment and still make it?
Yeah.
Which entrepreneurial school will teach you to go to Colombo at the time 5 aircrafts are going to be bombed there, No one. These management schools, in my opinion, put you in a box. They train you to think very systematically. Okay, very professionally, in a very, very structured manner. Okay, these are required. I think these are great qualities to have. Okay, but entrepreneurs somehow are guided by their intuition. Okay, entrepreneurs are, it's how do you explain? I mean, they do things which normally people will not even think of doing.
Like just go to Sri Lanka where there was a war.
Yes, and not only that. I mean, just think of. You can read the recent. Look at Elon Musk, right? The Tesla fellow.
Yeah.
The kind of things someone told me recently that. The kind of new invention that he's thinking about.
Boring
the kind
company,
the spacecrafts. He wants to convert it into a human carrier. Do you know about it?
I just finished reading his book.
Okay, so that means he's thinking that this used to be converted into debris after it comes back, right? So it was not when the new technology is to save it and then convert it for human transport. I'm told that you will be able to travel from London to New York in an hour's time.
Yeah, he's working on that.
He's working on that. What is it? Can Oxford or Harvard or Wharton teach you to do this? Think like this?
No.
Huh? It's all about thinking, isn't it?
Absolutely.
It's all about imagination, isn't it?
Absolutely.
It's all about a dream. No books teaches you how to dream. You have to dream yourself. And you have to dream consistently. I remember, and I like to share this from the former president of India, Abdul Kalam. He says that you dream so big that it doesn't let you go to sleep anymore.
Wow.
Sapna aisa dekho jo ki kabhi sone hi na de.
Absolutely.
That's how you have to dream.
And while reading your book, what I've learned is I think indirectly your network equals your net worth too. How important is it to surround yourself with the right people?
Absolutely critical. I think you need to, I think, I probably said it somewhere that if you ask me, what is the most critical thing to be successful, or, beyond a certain scale, to be with the right person at the right time, okay? To be with the right person at the right time with the right idea.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what makes you what you are.
Wow.
You may have great ideas, but if you can't network and put together the resources, it doesn't work, right? Or if you're too much ahead of time, it doesn't work. The time has to be right.
Absolutely. And you've consciously tried to be with the right person throughout your life, and you have become the right person as well.
Well, what is right is questionable, but you do try to develop a network, okay, where, which makes it easier. Like at 86, I was a YPO, Young Presidents Organization's member. It was very, very tough to qualify for that, and I was the only one for many years. Today, even whole India used to have only one YPO organization in Delhi, not even Mumbai, not even Calcutta. So yes, definitely, I think, and it's a great experience, because I always believe that anybody who has made it, somebody who has made it by cheating, or somebody who's made it by fluke, will not be able to hold it for too long.
Absolutely.
Okay, so if somebody has made it big, okay, in any field, there has to be some quality in that person, and that's what you should try to discover. Generally, these people are very good.
Like you said,
they're always loving, giving. They're always prepared to share. Okay, they're always proud of what they've done, and they like to. And their mind is broad. That's what I've found. I don't know why, but I feel that I've never had problem in making best of the friends with best of the people in this world.
I think we give to the world what we have in our hearts. So.
That's right.
And you said that it's easy to climb Everest, but it's really hard to stay on top of it. So, there has to be a conscious effort to be on top. Someone can...
And you know why, right? I've tried to articulate that. in a very philosophical way, it can be, the interpretation can be taken beyond, but even in a practical sense, when you go to when you climb up to the peak, the wind is so strong, okay? It doesn't let you stay there. And secondly, there's somebody waiting there. The moment you come down, he or she wants to ascend, okay? So that there is very little space at the top. And to protect that space takes so much more effort. Okay, so I think that applies in life. The whole world is competing. People are competing. People want to. You are visible. So many. It makes many happy, but it also makes many jealous. Okay, people gang up to pull you down. There are few people who support you to stay up there. It's tough.
I want to ask you a personal question. So you have enough money to buy an island and live there forever and not worry about anyone, but you still spend so much time helping with your organization or giving time to someone like me or put a conscious effort to make sure people's life is better. Why is that important to you when you don't have to?
You're right. I mean, I could have chosen back in 1990, to sort of change my base and operate from Singapore or London or New York. That's what generally successful businessmen do, right? Even Indian businessmen, if you look at many of them, or even international. But I was very clear right from the beginning that even if when we wanted to internationalize or make our business globalize, it had to be the first Nepali multinational from Nepal. That's what makes it so different and so special. Okay, I would never ever change my home from Kathmandu for anything in the world.
Wow.
Okay, I still go back. I tell everybody I have home here, I have home in Dubai, you've seen, But I go and unpack and pack my suitcase in Kathmandu. And that's where my heart belongs to. Yeah. And Nepal has given me this identity, Nepal, whatever I am today is because of Nepal. No matter what you say. You can argue that, okay, if one was born somewhere else, maybe, one could have been Ratan Tata or Mukesh Ambani or Bill Gates, but no, I think I'm very happy. Nepal has given me everything, and now it's my turn to give it back to my country.
It's beautiful. That is beautiful. I want to ask one more personal question. So, when I was reading your book, with your wife, I don't think your dad was accepting of it when you first wanted to marry her, but you were persistent that you wanted to marry her, and you guys have an amazing family and you're so happy. So as a millennial, where my parents or my family is trying to ask me to get married, or there are, I'm sure, other people whose family are asking the same thing, what should one look in a life partner?
50% of what you get is your destiny. First, you have to be prepared mentally, okay? And then, because there is nothing called what you look for, okay? I think marriages, I still believe that marriages are made in heaven.
You do?
Yeah, you have to remember this, okay? And secondly, of course, I mean, you as an intelligent, mature, stable person, you are going to look for the basic qualities in the person, right? Okay, but most importantly is how you connect. The trust factor, the comfort factor, isn't it? And I think that grows. That grows. And if provided there is a will to make it.
So it's a lot.
The problem that I see in today's generation is you start with a sense of apprehension. It's going to work or not. And you start judging. Even after you are in a relationship. Okay? You're too independent. You want to be too independent. And that doesn't help. I think there is a degree of bondage that is very critical. They say that, okay, children become the bondage. Once you are, once you have a child, and that's true. But more importantly, I think it is having accepted somebody as your partner. If you are mentally prepared and mentally determined that I'm going to make this work, and if this has to come from both sides, of course.
Absolutely.
It will be a beautiful relationship.
Wow. So it's commitment and work.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I think with our generation, we're always looking for more and more, and sometimes...
And also always judging, you know. The process of accepting and working to make it the best relationship should start, and the process of judging right, wrong, what is this kind of a person, he or she, should stop.
Yeah.
A point has to come where life has to take turn, right?
Absolutely. Like you said with Everest, and when adversity comes, just stick to your ground.
Yes.
Absolutely.